To Syria now, where the army has withdrawn from the country's second largest city, Aleppo, in the face of a surprise rebel advance. The army says it's regrouping ahead of the arrival of reinforcements. Meanwhile, Russia, Syria's key ally, has promised to step up military aid and air support. Sky's Tom Cheshire from Beirut has more.
This is really significant because this has been such a long war and such a quick offensive. A ceasefire was signed in 2020, and this is the biggest attack since then. But notably, the rebels were driven out of Aleppo in 2016, nearly a decade ago, after a long and grinding battle. And this is the first time they have returned, and they have returned really quickly. This offensive was launched on Wednesday, and just 72 hours later, they were in the middle of Aleppo. The Syrian army said it was conducting a safe withdrawal, a tactical withdrawal, which is code for a retreat, basically. And there was very, very little opposition. This offensive led by HTS, which is an Islamist militant group. The Syrian army called them terrorists. They're also called terrorists by the US and by Turkey. Russian and Syrian jets say they have been striking the outskirts, the suburbs of Aleppo, in response to that, ahead of that supposed counter-offensive. But that mention of Turkey is really, really important here because there is this wider regional conflict at play. Turkey and Russia were the signatories to that 2020 ceasefire. Turkey backing the rebels, Russia backing President Assad's regime. That did help, but it looks like Turkey perhaps has given the green light to this. That's what sources have told Reuters news agency in an effort to tip the balance in this region, to exert more influence. And it also shows, I think, the second-order effects of war. Russia has been fighting in Ukraine, a long and grinding war, and as difficult it is for Ukraine, it is also difficult for Russia, which has committed manpower and also weaponry to Ukraine from Syria. It's promised, as you say, to step up that support. But the other regional player here, Iran, that also backs Assad's regime. And Iran, of course, has been weakened in its war with Israel, which saw direct missile exchanges, but also in terms of the militias it supports. They're in Syria too. And one rebel commander saying they just hadn't encountered that Iranian-backed resistance. Those groups, of course, include Hezbollah too, which has been weakened, recently signed a ceasefire here. We'll see whether that is holding. But I think that really speaks to how a war in one place can have these cascading effects across the region, potentially redrawing the map of control and influence.